welcome back to my channel. It's Ari, and I have not made like a school related video in so long, and I finally decided to come on and talk a little more about school, because I know some of my subscribers are here from like my school related videos, and I like to always keep updated information, especially while I'm still in college. When I get out of college, I don't know if I'll still make videos like this, but I try to make one at least every single year. So today's video is going to be talking about what they do not tell you before you get to college, because there's a few things that like I wish I would have known before I got to college, but didn't know, and I kind of had to find out the like hard way and just from experience. Everybody's experience is going to be different. This is just things that I feel based off of how it was for me since I've been in school, because I haven't just had a smooth transition into college. It took time and patience and me just really, getting the gist of it throughout time. I know some people who have came to college who have very good experiences, no problems, it's very smooth for them. I know people who come to college and literally can't stand it and leave because it's just too much. And then there's people like me who are in the middle where my college experience isn't horrible, but it could be better, definitely. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about a few things. I made a small list, as you guys can see, and I'm just going to go through the list and talk about it. First thing that I wrote down was loneliness. So when I got to college, I came in 2020 when it was COVID. So I am now a junior in college. When I got here, it was full-blown COVID, and there was really no social events, no nothing. So a lot of kids that came to school with me had a problem adjusting. I just never really fully adjusted to college. I just stayed to myself. And yeah, by the time that they started opening stuff up, I just felt very introverted and didn't really want to branch out. I mean, now that I'm a little older and I'm starting to hit adulthood and I'm just becoming a grown woman, in better words to put it, I definitely want to branch out and actually experience my what I'm paying for. Because at the end of the day, college is something you're paying for. Nobody is putting you here and paying for it unless your parents can pay for it. Like I have friends who had scholarships that paid for their whole college experience. I've had people who have had financial aid that paid for every single penny of their schooling. Me personally, my tuition is paid by the college, so I don't have that problem. So I put loneliness because it's really hard to make friends when you're a very introverted person, and since I've been here, I'm just not like, I'm a really good person when it comes to reading people's energies and stuff like that, so I tend to stay to myself because I let people's emotions affect me overall, and it just doesn't work out. College is like, it's kind of like I mentioned in my previous video, you either find a clique and you're in, or I don't know, you just find friends throughout time. I know some people who went to college and never found friends, but when they went to their job and career fields, they found their bestest friends. So yeah, I mean, I've made friends since I've been in college. Lifelong. Some will be ended by the time I leave college, but it just comes and goes when it comes to friendships. You just definitely have to learn how to adjust to being lonely, because yeah, you go to parties and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, you're here for education, like I always stress. So you're gonna have those times where you're isolated and you're studying for weeks on ends or days on ends, and you have to miss events, and sometimes I can feel lonely, And also, this kind of ties into my second point, which is being homesick. Me personally, I do experience homesickness frequently, just because me and my siblings are super close. Me and my dad are super close. So, and I've had personal experiences in my life where I've lost family members who were very close to me. So when I start to miss home, I kind of like that I'm very close to home. I can drive home whenever. I do get homesick. And I know people who are in college right now who get homesick, and their family is hours away and they can catch a flight to go see their family. But flights cost money, stuff like that. And that's another thing that you should probably take into consideration if you're a very family oriented person. I mean, always go see the world, go travel, but if you get homesick a lot, it's kind of good to stay close. Just when I first got to school, I wanted to stay close to home just for personal matters that I felt for myself, but I am very family oriented and I love to see my family. I love to see my sisters. I like being close, and I like being able to just come home whenever I'm ready and not have to wait until a flight day and stuff like that, because sometimes me and my sisters and my dad bump heads and I'm ready to go, yeah. So that's just me personally. I put down is cost. People do not talk about the cost of college a lot. I mean, of course, people are like, oh, it's a scam, it's just so much money and people don't get nowhere in life, which is true. A lot of people go to college and drop out and are in freaking debt for years and didn't even finish school. Me personally, I've thought about dropping out, but I am already in so much debt, I'm going to finish and get this degree. There's no way that I'm gonna literally not finish something that I have pulled so much money out of and spent so much money towards, like out of pocket and from financial aid. But the cost of college is extremely ridiculous. Not only is it just the cost of college, it's also the cost of living while in college. There's two differences, the cost of college and the cost of living in college. Living in college is expensive too, especially if you're like me. I'm a very high maintenance person. I like my hair being done, I like my nails being done, I like makeup, I like clothes, I like all this, you know, I like to go eat, I like to go spend time with my family and my friends. So if you're a high maintenance person, getting a job is probably beneficial to you while you're in college, because I promise you, college is expensive, y'all. There's like all these fees that you don't even know you have to pay, books, you know, food. Just keeping up with cost of living is extreme in this society. So that's always a factor that should be talked about a little more. So I say this to say that if you know you're going to college and you're a junior or senior watching this, take the time out to put money aside. While you're still in high school and you don't have bills to pay and your parents are paying for your stuff, etc., take money out and put it to the side and save that money so that when you go to college, if anything happens, you have rainy day funds. That's very, very essential, because I don't think it's stressed enough. I think that's something that should be talked about in high school. Budgeting and financing and stuff like that. Like, you need to save before you get to college, because anything can happen, y'all. You've seen what happened. COVID happened, and guess what? So many people lost their houses, their cars, you know, couldn't afford things. That's just an example, but you should definitely take the time to save money while you're in high school. Or if you're just not getting into college, save too. While you're getting your bases in college, that's definitely the time that you should really lock in with working and trying to save money, because once you get to these like higher grades and you start doing more need-based classes towards your major, you're gonna wish you had money to fall back on those days that you can't pick up shifts because you're spending the whole day in the library. You know, so just think about those type of things before you come to college. I wish I would have personally. I'm just blessed that I have a father who can help me with stuff like that. And like, yeah, like if you don't have parents to fall back on in situations like this, it's definitely good if you're very independent. If you don't have that type of support to be able to support yourself. The thing I put is workload. I don't think it's talked about a lot, as much as it should be, how much work you start to accumulate in college. And I think it needs to be talked about a little more, so I'm gonna talk about it here. When you first start college and you're doing like your basic classes, depending on what your major is, sometimes your first couple years are very easy and smooth. Mine were. But once you start getting to those like, you know, classes that are more, you know, advanced and are more towards your, you know, major and stuff like that, some of your classes are gonna be 3 hours long. And then you're gonna have to go home and type a paper or do assignments that are an hour each. Like I have some assignments that literally take me 2 hours to complete each. So I have to be able to like start, like I have a planner. If you don't have a planner, get one. Planners will be your best friend. I have one in my iPad. It looks like this, like I plan out my days, stuff like this. And then I also have a physical planner. I have a physical planner. I will show you guys my first month when I got to school, how my planner looked. These are all like when my assignments due. Every day that is written down is like assignments due. So just to say, like, the workload in college is definitely crazy, and you need to make sure that you take the time out to be able to make sure you have enough time for each assignment, and to make sure that they're done correctly, and to make sure that you have time to study that material. You know, it's just all about time management. College is really about time management. Now that I'm getting older, I'm just starting to realize time management in college is very essential, because that's really what college is about. It's teaching you about being able to manage your time, your expenses, and really just teaching you what the real world is like. Because your professors don't care if you don't turn your assignment in on time, because they feel like they gave you enough time. And when you first get your syllabus at the beginning of the year, most professors, if they're good professors, are always gonna put all your dates. So how you manage your time and get them done is on you. So that's why if I miss an assignment, I don't even sit here and be like, oh my God, let me email my professor and see if they'll let me. I'm not, because That's on me, and as an adult, I should be able to manage my time, get on my planner, write down my due dates, and make sure that it's done on time. Like, there's really no excuse, honestly. It's just, you know, that's the way it is in the real world. And I really appreciate college because it's teaching me, like, hey, it has to get done. You have to work a 10-hour shift after your class. Nobody cares but you. And that's just the truth. Like, I'm not trying to sound rude, but like, that's really the truth. Like, nobody cares about what you're doing outside of class in your schoolwork. So you like, oh my God, I'm taking on so much work. Nobody cares. Like, that's the truth. The next thing I put is mental health, and this is probably the biggest thing for me. Mental health is very, very, very important in college, because going back to what I just was talking about, nobody cares what you're doing. And at times that can really make you depressed, because it's like you're taking on so much and nobody cares. Your parents are always gonna be proud of you. They're always gonna want the best for you. But at the end of the day, like, your parents have, you know, their own things going on. Your friends have their own things going on. Everybody has their own plate, you know, and that can feel like isolating, and it can make you depressed and sad. You know, homesickness can lead you to depression because you're missing your family, you're feeling alone. You know, loneliness can lead you to depression and make you feel alone. Mental health is very essential in college, and I feel like it needs to be taken care of over everything else, even over your assignments. That's why when I see people who drop out of college because it's affecting their mental health, I never ever can sit here and judge, because I personally have experienced it. Like, college is really rocky for me sometimes, and I really start to get in these modes where I'm very depressed, and I have to take a step back and be like, Ariana, stop stressing over your, you know, your grades and stuff like that. You just need to focus on you. Take a couple days to you. You know, I get my assignments done, but like, am I gonna sit here and stress over it? No. You also have to realize school is not the end of the world. It's not. Like, of course, it's a lot of work and you have to put in a lot of work to be successful, but it's not the end of the world. Breathe, because I'm pretty sure your college has resources to help you, you know, study halls that your school has. Like, my school always has study halls. Like, they just send an email saying, oh, come to the athletic center and come study with us. Like, you know, you have advisors, you have counselors, you know, it's always help out there. You just have to research it, you know. We even have, you know, facilities for like mental health if you feel like you're becoming very depressed. I just took a survey for my school about mental health. So mental health is not talked about enough, but it's very important. Just make sure you take the time to focus on you, okay? Because college can become overbearing, and you have to find a balance. You have to be able to balance school and balance yourself. At the end of the day, yourself is always more important, but you have to make sure that you make time for yourself. Sundays, reset. Do a Sunday reset. Make sure you have all your work done by Saturday, so that Sunday you can just relax. You know, do things that you enjoy on Sunday. You know, just make sure you take time for you. And the last thing I want to talk about is loans. Loans. Like, ugh. People do not talk about loans enough. I feel like they should have talked about that in high school too. When you get to college, you're gonna pull loans. If you're not like under a scholarship and you get financial aid, you're 9 times out of 10 gonna be given loans from the school. And 9 times out of 10, they always are more than how much they give you as a grant. My grants are like $7,000. Loan wise, they be trying to offer me like 4K in loans every year. That's insane, but it's reality. Like, so the best thing to do, my advice on that, is when you get loans, start to pay them off while you're in college. Do not let interest build on them, because it's gonna build regardless, but the amount of interest that's gonna build on your loans over time before you graduate is going to be insane. So the best thing to do is always try to pay them back. If you pull loans from a private like loan holder, their interest is always going to be way more than the school like interest. Like, they're always way more.
Only been days, but it feel like months. We gone for a year, only know like once.